to the Faith and Justice Show. I'm your host, Mallory Justice. First off, I need to apologize. I went MIA for a little bit. I had a lot going on, a lot of new change, and a lot of different things happening. Our third episode, we sat down and we interviewed former state representative who, after many years, is now planning to run again. And I am pleased to say that we sat down with Mr. John Atkins, who is running for the 41st state representative seat. We also were joined by his adorable dog, Bella, who you will see throughout the episode was the star of the show. I hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I did recording it, because I laughed a lot. And I'm very excited for you guys to see it. I did want to address on here that episodes may be a little all over the place now, so please don't stop listening. Thank you all for your support so far. And it would not be the Justice Show if I did not ask this question, and I'm going to do it a little differently this week. Instead of, what are you grateful for this week, what are you grateful for in general right now? Also, I love music. I need to throw this out there. Gavin Adcock just recorded a new album that's like covers of like 90s country songs, 80s, 90s country songs, some 70s songs. So, make sure to go listen to Kentucky Bluebird by The Creek. So good. And Simple Man. Simple Man was really good too. Completely unrelevant, but it would not be me if I did not talk about music. That's why there's a violin on the wall. But make sure you guys go follow our Instagram, The Faith and Justice Show. I do things a little differently on there. I do post a lot of stories. So just things I see that TQSA post or podcasts I follow. I like what it is. I post it. You guys seem to like it too. So I'm going to keep doing that. Make sure to follow our Facebook page, Faith and Justice, and go subscribe to our YouTube page where all of our episodes of the podcast are posted on, and that is the Faith and Justice Show. That's where episode 3 will be posted. Thank you guys all for your support this far, and this is the Faith and Justice Show. I hope you enjoy this week's interview, and I'm your host, Mallory Justice, and I will see you on episode 4.
Are we live?
Yeah,
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Right.
I can edit it all out.
No, we don't want to. Let's do it just like this.
Just like this?
Just
okay.
like this. Let's
Okay.
get it to them raw. Get down, Bella.
She's fine. She can be in it. So, welcome to the Faith and Justice Show. Today we have two very special guests. We have Bella and we have John Atkins, who is running for state representative in the 41st district. So, give us a little introduction about you, John.
Well, everybody knows about me.
Exactly. That is true.
Lived here all my life. 55 years old. Jen's over here. Jen and I have 5 boys between us, and I served in the House of Representatives from 2002 until 2012 or 14. I can't remember. And I'm running for the Soken seat because everybody knows how important holding the supermajority is.
Mm-hmm.
The only candidate in the race that's won this district 6 times. And so here we are. But
Okay.
I'm more interested in interviewing you.
Oh, no.
I've been interviewed 1,000 times. Have you ever been interviewed?
I think like once in my life. Yeah.
Once in your life,
Ask
yeah.
me anything.
All right, let me ask you. Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah. So, I've kind of covered a little bit this on the show before, but I grew up here. I'm a 5th generation Susquehannian, so pretty fun when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Family has lived on the same road in Gumboro for, I don't know, 5 generations, I guess.
And you know what's interesting about that is I know your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
I know most of your aunts and uncles,
Mm-hmm.
but I never knew all of you related and I've lived here all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never known.
John did a lot for my family, and he didn't ever know this, but my great-grandfather looked up to you a lot. Philip Charles loved John Atkins and would always be like, oh yeah, John Atkins did this. And I was like 10. I didn't know.
He was part of my original McDonald's crew.
Oh my goodness, I miss those days.
He would come up from Gumboro every morning to Millsboro McDonald's, the old Millsboro McDonald's, which was out by Pasco Batteries, and he was part of that group, and for a lot of years we had a lot of fun. And when I first ran, you know, it was a big deal to get someone elderly from Gumboro that was supporting me after all the years of Representative West. You know, they were all his supporters, and when he decided not to run, and I did run in '02, you know, it was nice to get some of those people that are community oriented and you know, well known in the community to back you was big in my first election.
Yeah.
And I, speaking of Gumboro, I remember one of our first slogans were, you know, people were nervous when Charlie retired that, you know, Gumboro would be put on the back burner. And I had a campaign slogan back in '02 that Gumboro will not be forgotten.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, keep it that way.
Yeah.
We got elected on the Gumboro story, and I found out that the Gumboro Fire Company was one of the only fire companies in the state that didn't have a thermal imaging camera.
Wow.
And I went to Dover and scraped enough money, and my argument was a life in Gumboro is just as important as a life in Wilmington. And we delivered on that promise and got on that camera at the time, which was, you know, high tech. So,
Yeah.
tell me about your
Yeah.
latest venture in the watermelon queen contest.
So, I haven't covered on this. So, I actually did run for the Mardell Watermelon Association as the queen. So, I got runner-up. It was a very interesting experience. I actually just had a conversation right before tonight with someone from that organization who talked about regenerative farming. And I think I figured out the key of how to stop overdevelopment. So, that will be getting covered in the future. So, watch out.
And you've been involved in Republican politics for how long?
So, I started when I was 17. Little Mallory went out to Texas because she didn't know anything in Delaware, what there was to offer. And I thought Texas was the way to go. So, I went out there, met Charlie Kirk, came home, and started the first Turning Point USA High School chapter in Delaware. That's what I did.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And then you became chair of the 41st District Republicans.
So I was a EDC, then I moved up to vice chair, and the day I was sworn in as vice chair was the day I beat cancer, and then a year later I was sworn in as RDC because I got a call that said we need you. We need one of us, and that's what I did.
Okay, and in the last month, I understand you've been hired where I used to work at the House of Representatives.
Yep, that's where I work now.
My first term, I had a legislative assistant from Kent County, and from then on, I was assigned a legislative assistant from Sussex County, and really right here in the 41st, we shared Nancy Hickman, who Nancy's from Millville, and it was nice having a legislative assistant from Sussex County because, you know, you could call and say, hey, Ronnie Gray's got a pothole in front of his house on Omar Road. And she knew exactly where it was. You didn't have to explain to her the road number, the intersection, and all that kind of stuff. And so that was cool. And our legislative aides then, you know, they always had our Del-Dot engineers and yard foremen, yard supervisors, cell phone numbers, and DENRECs and that kind of stuff. So we were able to cut through a lot of red tape and get things done. And hopefully that's what we're going to do again when we get back.
What is one of your favorite memories for when you were in office?
Oh, well, I'd say favorite memories. Well, I was able to meet the senior President Bush.
Okay, yeah.
When he came to do a speech at the Sussex Tech, it was the James X. Grove High School. I was able to meet him. I don't know, some of my proudest things was obviously having fought for, and President Bush, I call him Junior, George W. Bush, he's not the junior, George W. Bush, when he sent his Veterans Affairs Secretary, Vincent Principi, and we were able to get the Veterans Home here built in Sussex County. Another proud one was when that nutcase group from Kentucky, remember when they were protesting military funerals?
Oh, yeah.
And they had one in Seaford, and just upset a lot of local people, and we were able to, I drafted a bill and passed it to make it illegal to protest within so many feet of a military funeral. out in Plantation Lakes. They had an instance where a resident's son was serving. He was a veteran. His son was serving in Afghanistan, and he put an American flag up in Plantation Lakes. And HOA threatened to sue him. Well, he said he wasn't taking it down and came to me. And it wasn't easy. I thought this was going to be a slam dunk to go to Dover. Everybody would jump on board of flying the American flag in your front yard. It took me a while to pass by one vote, but it guarantees the right of every Delaware citizen to fly the American flag on the property, regardless of HOA or deed restrictions.
Very nice.
So
That is cool.
now it's my turn.
Yeah, of course.
So, how would Minority Leader Representative Dukes, if I called him right now and he answered the phone, what kind of job would he say you were doing in Dover?
What kind of job I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't need to call him. I think he would say I'm doing a decent job.
Let's see if Tim, everybody knows Tim Dukes. Let's see if Tim answered the phone for us.
Let's see if Representative Dukes will answer. Hi, Bella.
Hello.
Representative Dukes, John Atkins.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good. I'm here with your new employee, Mallory. We're doing a podcast that a lot of people in, obviously, Gumboro, Millsboro, Laurel, and Delmar are watching. And she wanted to interview me, and I'm interviewing her. And the question was, what would Tim Dukes say? What kind of job would Mallory is doing if I were to call Tim Dukes right now, live?
Well, I can tell you, man, she just started just a few weeks ago, and we're thrilled to have her part of the team. She is one of the young stars, I believe, in the Republican Party, and we're thrilled to have her as part of our team.
Yep, she's just told us about her experience with Turning Point USA, being a ED chair for the 41st, and then the chair of the 41st district, and now she's got a job at Lake Hall. But I like putting her on the spot. So when I'm reelected, would you say, if you had to pick one, who's going to be your favorite representative? John Atkins or Tim Dukes?
Oh, you're asking her that?
Yeah, I'm going to ask her that.
All right.
Can I plead the fifth?
Or you can say Tim Dukes, but in real life you can say you're going to be my favorite.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. Tim's, how's things going in the 40th?
You know what? I haven't been home long. It's been a long day in Dover, and but I'm doing well now that I'm back home in the 40th, and I'm glad to be here. And I'm getting some paperwork done tonight that I've been a little bit behind, but things have gone well.
Well, that's great. That's great. We had our meet and greet here at the William V. Sipple and Son office in Millsboro, Tim, and had a great turnout. You know, at the beginning I was worried it was snowing. You were probably still in Dover. We were getting close to an inch of snow. It was 65 degrees this morning when we woke up, and then by 6 o'clock tonight we had an inch of snow on the ground. But a lot of people showed up. A lot of elected officials, and we're off and running.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, wish you the best, man, in your campaign. I know that you're going to work hard, and you're going to give it 100%. And then if you're elected, I look forward to working with you.
Same here. We always work hard, and same here. Good talking to you, Tim, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
So, let's have a little fun with this question.
Okay.
We're talking about the weather. What's your thought on climate change?
I think, when you're walking the same paths in 2026 as your great-great-great-grandfather, walked along the river to go to duck blinds and fishing holes that they were 75 years ago, I have a hard time believing that all the sea level rise. I can remember when Senator Carper stood up on the House floor, the U.S. Senate, and 25 years ago, and you can Google it. It's on YouTube, where he said that by 2020 we'd be having regatta races at Dover Downs instead of NASCAR races. Well, everybody knows we're still having NASCAR races. So, in Sussex County terms, I think it's a bunch of bull.
It's true.
Yeah.
But yeah. So one last question. What's next in 2026, this campaign season?
Well, we're in this primary. There's 3 of us. The primary date is September 15th. We've taken 2 polls. Our first poll was very strong. The poll that we took today is a lot stronger. And, we're excited. I'm excited to represent the 41st District again and bring back, one-on-one, hands-on constituent service. The thing about it was, I left in 2014, here's 2026. So, and Jen will attest to it. Like, people have never stopped calling me, and I'm thinking, man, I used to get paid to do this. Now I'm doing it for free, but
you love it.
I love it. I love the constituent service part.
Me too.
More than going to Dover and voting on stuff. Obviously that's important too. But I always said that when someone here at home physically picks up their phone and whether they're calling Senator Pettyjohn, Senator Hocker, myself, they're at the end of the road. Like, they have nowhere else to turn. So they're going to call their elected officials, and it could be something as small as fixing a pothole to child support or an adoption issue, Social Security, disability, and that's why I always prided myself in. A few funny stories. I can remember it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were having a nor'easter, and this is back when the 41st District took in Oak Orchard and Long Neck. And 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone rings. I answer the phone, and you could tell it was by her voice, it was an elderly lady, 80s and 90 years old. And Representative Atkins, you got to get down here. You got to get down here. I said, ma'am, calm down. What's the matter? And she said, the tide's coming in, and it's almost to my house. You got to do something. And I gathered my thoughts, and I said, ma'am, I can help you with a lot of things, but I can't stop the tide. And she laughed and got embarrassed. And she said, this is probably the dumbest phone call I've ever made. And I said, no, it's not, ma'am. If you're in trouble, I said, we'll get the Indian River Fire Company down to state police. And she said, no, I think I'm okay. I'm going to ride it out. So I called her the next morning to check on her, and she was fine. And her and I never met face to face, but she would call me on my birthday every year, and I would call her on her birthday every year until she passed away.
Wow.
Then another time, it was, the dull days of summer, June, July, August, I can't remember which month it was, but one of those 98-degree days that's still 4 o'clock. And, I was living here in the big house in Millsboro, and the phone rings, and it was a lady from Oak Orchard again, different lady, and she said, son, you got to get down here. She said, the mosquitoes are so bad and so big, they're ready to carry us away. Well, I said, ma'am, I'll get Denrick down there to spray for the mosquitoes just as soon as I can. I took her name, number, and address, hung the phone up, and I'm thinking, it's Friday at 4 o'clock. I'll call them Monday. They'll spray Monday night or Tuesday. Well, by coincidence, I hung the phone up. Denrick was spraying mosquitoes in Oak Orchard.
Wow.
So a half hour later, she calls back. And she says, son, I don't know who you know. She said, but they just sprayed. That was the quickest thing I've ever seen done. She said, my neighbors and I are going to vote for you for the rest of her life.
Wow.
And of course, I didn't tell her that we didn't do it. It was just coincidence. That's the kind of things you just take the credit for and let it ride. So.
And then finish it out with one more question. Especially this campaign season, one thing that Sussex County really struggles with is getting the youth vote out. Obviously, you do have support this time. What's that looking like for our youth for you? You've got a lot of Charlie Kirk supporters, and especially one thing we really care about on this podcast is our youth, ag, and firefighters. And what's your main focus, or what are you going to do to approach that?
I've talked to our volunteer fire companies, and I'm pretty confident, things we've helped them with from 02 to 14 that they're supporting me. And
Gumbro wouldn't have a firehouse if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, and so youth, going into this, I'm starting to think like, wow, I'm riding by and, there's the person that's passed and this person's passed. Mom and dad are still living. Mom will be 84 in September, and dad will be 86 next month, April. And I started thinking, like, there's a lot of these people that used to vote for me that aren't here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, Chase could vote. He's 31, but Jake and Jared were just young, and they could never vote. Well, they're 21 and 25, and everybody knows Jake Atkins around Gumboro. And, and Jake said, Dad, like, he literally said, I've got 100 friends that are waiting to vote for you. So, with that being said, I certainly want the younger vote, and I know their parents, and I knew their grandparents, and this is now the third generation of these families that I've known, and a lot of their grandparents went to school with my mom and dad, and I went to school and hung out with their parents, and now them and Jake are hanging out. So I feel really good, and I know you've got a lot of friends out
Just
there
a little
that are gonna pull the lever too.
Do you have any last minute questions for me?
Do I have any last minute questions for you? So tomorrow's Friday, so you're not going to Lake Hall tomorrow. You'll be in there.
Yes.
What do you and Annie Richardson usually do, or the staff, for lunch when you're in the Georgetown office?
I normally eat at my desk. I don't really.
So you bring your lunch?
I do bring my lunch. Yeah.
Very conservative.
Yeah, I just don't eat processed food, so I just don't go out.
You don't eat processed food as I'm drinking a Coke. Full of sugar.
I will admit, I don't eat processed food, but I can't live without my Dr. Peppers. As you know, I kind of bring me a Dr. Pepper, so.
I'm trying to drink a gallon of water a day.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard, but yeah. Well, make sure to go follow John Atkins and get out on primary day and go vote.
You find me on Facebook. I still use my page. Yes.
But go check out his page.
We're going to design a campaign Facebook page. Couple of rumors I do want to squash.
Go for it.
All right. It's been brought, some think that, what you read on my Facebook page is a staffer or it's, somebody doing it. I can guarantee you everything that you read on my page was thought and written by me. Now, Jennifer, she will check my punctuation and commas and apostrophes every now and then, but the content is mine. When you ask a question and I comment or I reply to something, it's 100% me. And we're going to file as a Republican. There's that rumor that we're not. We're filing as a Republican. We're running as a Republican, and we're going to be a lifetime Republican. Some of the opponents are like to take a jab at me because I was a Democrat at one time, and I'm going to remind them that some of the best Republicans were once Democrats. I can think
Donald Trump was one.
Ronald Reagan was one.
Ronald Reagan was one. That is very
Senator
true.
John Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Our local Greg Fuller was a Democrat
That
at
is
one
true.
time. So that's two rumors. Any other rumors, Jen? No? So
Yeah.
anyway. Yep,
Well.
the supermajority is the big thing. The seat has to stay red. Everybody knows how to reach me.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoyed our announcement video. That was
Oh
fun.
yeah. That was fun.
We've got some
He
more
just
stuff.
said that.
Yeah. We've got some more videos like that planned that are going to be fun, and that's the difference. Like the other rumor is I'm only running because I need a pension. Not true. I'm under, I think, 3 pensions back. When I got elected in 2002, you only had to serve 5 years, which is 3 terms or 2-year terms. So if you serve 2.5 terms, you got your pension, and of course we served 6 terms. So that's another rumor that they can squash. But it's fun this time. In 2002 to 2014, I was getting reelected. This time it's natural, it's fun, and we're doing well. So constitutionally, you still have to wait 3 years before you can run.
I know.
So I got 3 safe years before you primary me and beat me.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Guess we can do that.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on the show today.
It's been my pleasure.
And we'll have him back on. Don't worry. We'll have him and Bella back on.
Yeah. Looking forward to working with you.
Yeah.
Tim, if you see this, you not so much. just kidding, buddy. But yeah, it's fun. I'm glad for this community that's giving me a second chance, and that's what it's all about.
That is.
Maybe next time we can talk about faith.
I would love that.
Okay.
That would work.
All right.